Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the opening night of the TIFF Next Wave Film Festival. Yeah. So my name is Sia Mehta, and I'm a member of the TIFF Next Wave Committee, the team that programs this incredible festival. On behalf of TIFF Next Wave, I'd like to welcome you to tonight's In Conversation with Maitreyi Ramakrishnan. As you join us today, we encourage you to reflect on the land that you're on and its history. We are located on the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit and the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Wendat, and the Haudenosaunee. The territory is within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant and is home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We are grateful to work on this land and to show films made by Indigenous creators at TIFF Next Wave. On behalf of TIFF, I'd like to take a moment to thank our amazing members and donors for their continued support. I'd also like to extend a thank you to our lead sponsor, Bell, and our major sponsors, RBC and Visa, as well as our major supporters, the Government of Canada, the Government of Ontario, and the City of Toronto. Also a huge thank you to the Shawn Mendes Foundation and the Reconnect Festival and Event Program for their continued support of TIFF Next Wave, as well as our community partner for tonight's event, Brown Girl Magazine. Today's conversation is being live streamed on TikTok, so thank you to our viewers around the world for tuning in. The TIFF Next Wave Film Festival, running now until Sunday, April 24th, celebrates new voices in cinema and highlights the power in young people seeing ourselves and our communities represented on screen. The festival is curated by us, the TIFF Next Wave Committee, which is a group of 12 high school students who love film and get to plan youth-oriented events at TIFF. If you're in high school and wondering how to get involved, TIFF is currently recruiting new members for TIFF Next Wave, and applications are due in May and available at tiff.net/nextwave. And if you haven't already, please sign up for TIFF's Under 25 Free Pass, which provides free access to Cinematheque screenings year-round and other benefits. And to sign up, visit tiff.net/under25. TIFF Next Wave is unlike any other film festival. The lineup features bold new films from around the world that are entertaining and diverse, and they showcase the vibrancy of adolescence. The official selection screenings are free for anyone under 25, and in addition to these 10 exceptional features, you can check out tomorrow's Nostalgia Ultra Movie Marathon with iconic classics like My Neighbor Totoro and Slums of Beverly Hills. Following tonight's event, we invite you to join us for a live musical performance at Battle of the Scores in the Atrium at 8 p.m., and then come back up here to Cinema 2 at 9 p.m. for the Canadian premiere of Slashback, and director Nyla Nuksuk will be here to introduce the film and join us for a Q&A, so don't miss it. There's a lot to look forward to, and we're so excited to spend this weekend with all of you, sharing stories, watching films, and discovering new perspectives. I am so excited to introduce Maitreyi today. So as we all know, representation on screen is power, and as a young brown girl growing up, seeing that representation of my community on screen has been really rare. And Maitreyi is changing that completely for our generation and for the next. Through her heartfelt performance as Devi in Never Have I Ever, Maitreyi is bringing brown kids and families to the forefront of mainstream entertainment, and she's shattering one-brand immigrant stereotypes in the process. She's showing us as people with regular lives and unique personalities who are proud of our communities. Maitreyi's role as Devi may be hilarious and fun, but to me, she's also a landmark of healing and growing. Maitreyi is a force of light and talent, and I could not be more excited for her presence here today. To moderate tonight's conversation, we're thrilled to welcome Kathleen Newman-Bremming. Kathleen is Deputy Director, Global at Unbothered, Refinery 29's sub-brand made for and by Black folks. Through Unbothered, she oversees content across the UK, US, and Canada, and writes about pop culture, race, feminism, and the intersection of all three, while championing other Black women writers to do the same. She has profiled stars like Angela Bassett, Issa Rae, and Joshua Jackson, and furthered conversations about representation in television, accountability in media, and the importance of hiring Black and Indigenous creators behind the scenes of film and TV productions. She was also one of the recipients of the 2022 Canadian Screen Awards inaugural Changemaker Award. So please join me in welcoming Kathleen.
Hi. Sorry, Maitreyi and I were talking and I missed my cue. Anyway, hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everyone who was watching live stream on TikTok, everyone who's here in person. Hi. Give yourselves a round of applause. So I am so excited to be here tonight to get to introduce and to talk to one of the brightest stars in this industry and in this country right now. She beat 15,000 other candidates to land the lead role in Mindy Kaling's first Netflix original series, Never Have I Ever, where, of course, she plays Devi Vishwakumar, a complex, hilarious, competitive, boy-crazy teen girl, a South Asian lead unlike anything we had seen on television. She plays her with such humor and fearlessness. I am in awe every episode. It has, of course, been renewed for season 3 and a 4th and final season. I cannot wait. Yes, give it up. She has also been named to the TIME100 Next list and is this year's recipient of the Canadian Academy's Radius Award. She voiced the character Priya in Pixar's Turning Red, one of my favorite films of the year. She is a beacon of joy and authenticity, and based on the work that she's done, I'm gonna go ahead and proclaim her as a champion and advocate of the importance and power of a horny teen girl. Coming up, she is starring in a contemporary adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, and all of that I just said is just the beginning. Please welcome the one and only Maitreyi Ramakrishnan.
Yo.
You did not miss your cue like I did.
I mean, I saw you say that it was because you were talking to me.
Yeah.
I love that you blamed that on me.
Yeah, I blamed
I appreciate that. I appreciate that honesty.
My
It
mic
was
is not
true.
working. Hello.
Your mic's not working?
Apparently
mine
not.
working?
That's okay. We rolled with it.
Yes.
Yes, I blamed it on you. That's okay. You got my back.
I do. I got your back. We go back, man. to
We go back,
Refinery
so I want to
29.
start
Oh,
with
yeah.
the first time we met was at a photo shoot for Refinery 29 Canada. Your first major photo shoot.
No, first photo shoot, period.
Okay,
Photo
first
shoot
photo
period,
shoot
bro.
period.
Yeah.
It was in February 2020.
Yep.
And it's the before times for all of us because that was before COVID kind of entered our consciousness. And it's the before times for you because it was before Never Have I Ever premiered. We went to an arcade here in Toronto and you walked around and no one knew who you were.
Yeah.
It was maybe one of the last times that you were able to like walk around in Toronto unrecognized.
Yeah,
So
actually.
tell me what has changed since then, other than the obvious, that you can no longer walk around without people being like screaming like they do.
I mean, a lot has changed. I can tell you what hasn't changed is me getting all those high score records on all of those games.
Kicking my ass.
I'm gonna bring that up. You can read that in the article. It's there.
Yes.
I'm very
Oh,
proud
she,
of that
like-
Pac-Man score, right? It was Pac-Man.
Yeah, you were on all of the leaderboards.
Yeah.
You
Gotta
were
flex
like,
myself
got
there.
bored of beating me. You're
No,
like, you know
I
what?
didn't.
This is embarrassing for you.
No, I didn't. Don't you dare.
You
it
were
was
like
such a fun time
embarrassed
hanging
for
out
me,
with you.
and so we had to move on.
Okay. Well, you said it, not me. No, yeah, life has changed in like every single like way of my life, like in my personal, professional, of course,
Yeah.
because there was a lack of professional before, and just me, like as a person. I feel like a lot of times in interviews, a lot of people say like, oh, like you haven't changed at all, like you're still you, and I'm like, yeah, like I still am like me, who I was then, but also no, because I'm not my 17-year-old self.
Of course.
I would hope I've grown from my 17-year-old self, because that's like a pivotal time in which you grow. And with the job that I'm in, I've definitely grown and changed, which is okay. And that's chill.
Yeah, that's totally fine. If you're not changing, you're not growing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, of course, it would be weird if you, I mean, you feel, you have the same energy, you're the same, like, down-to-earth, funny person.
Still the same bad jokes, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Do you still say brazy? Because this is something you used to
Did
say
I
a
say
lot.
brazy?
You were like, that's so
Don't even say
brazy.
that.
And
Don't even
I'm a
say-
millennial,
don't
so
say
I,
that
like,
in front of them.
it was
Did I say
just like,
brazy?
is this
Hey,
something I don't know?
If you told him, did I actually?
You said brazy, like, so many times.
Did I? That's so gross. I do not say brazy anymore.
Oh, you don't? Okay, cool. That's one thing that has changed.
These guys definitely don't say brazy.
Does everybody
Why
know
did
what
I-
even that is? Is that a Saga thing?
No, it's not a Saga thing. I
Okay,
can tell you that.
Mississauga,
now.
though, stand up. Anybody? You don't have to actually stand up, but like
Hey, yo,
Mississauga in the
Saga
house.
City.
Okay.
Woo.
So I want to take it back to Saga. when you were just a ute. And I'm sure many people in this audience can relate, to being that young and ambitious in high school. You went to Meadowvale, right?
Meadowvale, yeah.
Yeah. When did you know you wanted to pursue a career in arts, and what did that creativity look like to you then?
Okay, pursuing a career in the arts, I knew that when I was 10. Before that, I wanted to be a unicorn. I said that proudly in kindergarten, and I was a unicorn for Halloween. Pretty dope. But
So dream realized.
yeah, but I always wanted to be like in the arts. I thought I would go into animation and be an animator and be one of those many names in the credits of a Pixar film. That is really what I wanted. But then I also
dream realized, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there later in the conversation. But yeah, after like me realizing, can't really do a portfolio. Theater was something that I always liked to do just for fun in high school. I only signed up for like after school, musicals at my high school in Meadowvale because I wanted something to do instead of going home after school. So I was like, okay, this will be a fun way to like spend my time. I like to sing, and I'm not a great dancer, but I can try, and I'll somehow learn to act. So yeah.
I mean, that's annoying. But you're just like, I guess maybe I'll do this thing. And
Okay. It was truly like I just did not want to go home. I just did not want to go home. It was truly like I'm gonna keep my time busy.
Yeah, that's annoying. Anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so one of those musicals that you did was you played one of my favorite musical roles, which is Velma in Chicago. Take us back to that production and doing plays and musicals in high school and what you feel like you took from that experience that you still take with you in your career.
Okay, I feel like this audience
Do
here.
we have photos though? Sorry, I
have
keep
photos? No.
looking back. We don't have those. Okay. Anyway, keep talking.
We don't have them. We don't have them. I feel like this audience is really gonna understand what I mean when I like explain and I'm setting the
There
scene.
they are. There she is.
Ugh. Why is that still on my Instagram? That's so gross. So gross. I do like the short hair though. It's like my humble beginnings of my bowl cut.
Yeah, you look great.
Oh,
you look
God.
like Velma.
But yeah, when I try to like explain what the vibe was when doing Chicago in a lot of interviews, especially in Hollywood, I try to explain like the high school setting, and like I feel like they don't get it because I don't mean like they're crazy like American high schools. Like I mean like a regular suburb in Mississauga, just public school, high school that's actually an IBT school. I used to be in the IBT program, then I wasn't. So when I say like, yeah, it was just truly like my one drama teacher that really ran the show, and we all bought our own costumes. Our set was just the cell bars, seen above. Yeah, it was nothing like extravagant. Most of our budget went towards getting the rights to do Chicago, the high school edition, keeping it PG. And
Oh, I have questions about that, but that's okay. We'll talk after.
but yeah, that was what the vibe was, and what I took from that was truly appreciating just the fun parts of it, and my drama teacher would always say like, yo, you're not nearly as important or more or less than one of the stage hands, and none of you guys are more important than the other. And that was always just like, yeah, of course that's like what it is. That was just logical. And I just got to have fun in a safe environment of just playing and getting to express myself and try to dance and do Hot Honey Rag at the end and really mess up and all of that. It was just truly being able to like be a kid in such a safe environment, but also like one that appreciates everyone on stage.
Ooh, I love that. I mean, that I feel like is such a good lesson from your drama teacher to take into sets when you are number one on the call sheet now.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And also, I feel like that all comes from your parents as well. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we did when I interviewed you for Refinery 29 is we asked your parents for a quote. Mm-hmm. And the quote your mom gave made me cry.
What did she say?
And I still think about it all the time.
Okay, clearly I didn't remember Brazy, and now I can't remember obviously what my mother said. What did she say?
Okay, so it was kind of the idea that, the stereotype is that South Asian parents specifically, or even, immigrant parents, don't want their kids going into the arts, or that, you know, it's like doctor, lawyer, that's it. And your parents are the exact opposite. So we asked about the support they have for you. And she said, for the fire to burn bright, it needs air. So as a family, we chose to lift her.
Yo, my mom be saying poetic stuff all the time, guys. Like, you don't understand. Like, that's normal for my mom. Like, that wasn't, that's my reaction isn't like, oh my God, Amma, what? No, that's like, oh my God, Amma, what? Like, what? That's such.
I mean, yeah, I wish I wrote that line.
Did
That's
my dad
beautiful.
say anything? Because my dad would say something along the lines of like, good job.
He did not.
Okay,
he did not. I mean, he probably was like, that's it.
Yeah.
You said it.
What she said.
So what do your parents think of all this, and how proud are they?
I think they're just like, okay, my brain just really glitched between, do I say a funny, sarcastic answer or a real answer? But I'm gonna do right by them. I think they're just as proud of me as they were when I, you know, was in kindergarten, and when I was going into high school, when I decided and I came to terms with the fact that I'm not gonna be a Disney animator, because they knew that was a big hurdle for me to jump and realize that my 10-year-old dream was not gonna happen. They're just as proud of me as when I got the role, and we like, you know, partied and like had that like, oh my gosh, moment. But they're just as proud of me when the show first came out, and I think that hasn't changed because they just still see me as the same person, just being able to do and participate in more opportunities, if that makes sense.
That was a really beautiful, sincere answer. I'm proud of you.
It's not any fire burning oxygen thing, but I mean, I guess.
Well, one of the things I feel like you bring the same energy that you've always had to is social media. You know, you were one of the rare celebrities that I think should be allowed to have Wi-Fi access. Not all of them should. Not all of them should. So your social media game is on point. And we're going to look at a couple of examples, which is probably your nightmare. But here we go.
Hey,
You can look here too.
that's so genius. I can look right there. That is true. No social media, guys. I planned this. I'm just kidding.
Oh
my God, this is so gross. I should just walk out. Oh. And there's no audio. So
I don't know where the audio is.
Guys, we are sitting in our silence right now. What even is this TikTok? I don't even remember this.
Oh, no.
Ew.
I'm begging,
Okay, thank you.
Put your love in the hand now, baby.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wow. I mean, with the tech difficulties, that was
really good
even
timing.
better. That was great.
I'll play the booth. Thank you.
Okay, so, you know, we saw your humor in those clips, and also...
I don't think I should get Wi-Fi rates anymore.
Yeah, maybe they might be revoked. Your makeup skills, which I love. You just show like a big range on social media. So what are you still getting out of social media that like keeps you engaging with it?
That's a good question, because there's oftentimes like you get stuff that you don't want to keep engaging with, you know? There's a lot of stuff that isn't fun. But looking at those two TikToks, actually, the first one was like, I think, I'm gonna be honest, I really cringed so hard I didn't actually read the caption of what I put. But I'm pretty sure it was the one about my name versus like Davey,
it was.
right?
Yeah.
So I remember actually thinking before I posted that, and this was back in season 1, right after the show dropped, and I just wanted to make fun TikToks, and I was posting stuff, and then all the comments would be like, oh my God, Davey, like, and I was like, hey, yo, my name's like right there, it's the handle.
Right.
And I was like, am I dead now? Like, is Maitreyi dead? Like, does just Davey exist now? Am I just gone? Like, is this it? Is this how it's always gonna be? So then I was like, all right, you know what? Like, I'm gonna make a joke about it. Because then hopefully some people, some fans can take away, oh, yo, maybe she doesn't like that. Oh, and I know it.
Subtle, I like it.
Yeah, subtle, because I also understand.
Passive aggressive, also like it.
But I also understand it's coming from a point where like they're just fans. Like it's truly like from a kind place. They really see themselves in Davey. They really like Davey. They really like the show, you know? So I'm like, okay, cool. The other TikTok, I'm gonna be honest, that was just because I actually got a contact lens in my eye, and any anime fans, I was just cosplaying as Kaneki Ken from Tokyo Ghoul. But I got that contact lens in my eye, and I was like, I'm not gonna waste this opportunity because it took 2 hours to get it in there, and I'm gonna take it out after I get at least one TikTok. So on that note, I was like, yeah, social media is also just mine. I might as well have fun. That TikTok doesn't hurt anyone, so it's not, stupid fun where your Wi-Fi privileges should be revoked. It's just fun of like, maybe some of my fans also like Tokyo Ghoul and are anime nerds like me. And then they can be like, oh wow, sick. She's one of us.
Yeah, that's a really healthy way to approach it. I love that you said it's still yours. Like you still see it like that. Because I was gonna ask if like fame has changed your relationship to it at all.
It has, for sure. It has made me realize, like you gotta be really conscious about what you post. There are times when it makes you really scared about what you post because what I think now, my opinions that I have now, might be drastically different to my opinions that I might have in 30 years and the climate in 30 years. And, it makes you scared of like, oh shit, like what if I say something really messed up and then that's gonna come back at me or whatever? Should I just like stop social media? But then I'm like, just give yourself a break. Like I'm growing, and as long as it's always coming from an intent of like, I'm not trying to hurt anyone, and I'm using my brain, I always think 10 times before I post. And I'm like, I mean, in a way, we should all sort of think 10 times before we post.
Yes.
Regardless of whether or not we're a celebrity, we should also always think sometimes a couple more before we speak, before we just, say stuff that could potentially hurt someone,
Oh yeah, I wish everyone took that lesson. Just think a little bit. Just take 10 seconds, take a breath.
And then if you goof up, however many years down the line,
That's
you
okay.
Don't delete it. Don't delete the tweet. Just take accountability, and I swear it might be better.
Wow, you got serious. You did your British accent there.
See, yeah, we talked about this. You remember? I get serious.
Girl,
I do the
you
British.
know.
Yeah.
This ain't my first rodeo. Okay, so let's talk about landing Never Have I Ever, because this audition story
Landed.
makes me sweat. Like I just don't understand how you did it. You're flying to LA for the first time. Yeah. You're auditioning in front of Mindy Kaling, who was one of your heroes from The Office. Yeah. You are auditioning for the first time. Yeah. And you nail it. And you walk in, you make them laugh. You're just yourself. How? Again, it's annoying. How did you do that?
Well, obviously, the whole story, the whole legend. My friend sent me the tweet. I didn't know how to use Twitter. To me, a retweet and a like are basically both affirmations. They're both the good, so like, what's the difference? She sends me the tweet. I do it. I go. Eventually, they want me to actually come in person to LA to screen test. I was like, yo, cool, free trip, sick. I think, because there was like 4 stages of the audition process. The first self-tape, the first 2 self-tapes, another 4 self-tapes, then the 2 screen tests. After the first screen test, and it was just down to the last screen test, and that was when I found out it was down to me and one other person. That was when I switched from, I'm just really lucky to be here, like I'm really happy, I'm having a fun time, and I switched to, wait, I can do this shit. I got this. We're not holding ourselves as a, oh, I'm so thankful to be here, thank you so much. Of course, I'm still grateful, but I also know my worth, and I also know I have to give it my all, or for the rest of my life, I am going to regret it,
Yeah.
So I think that was like the overall arching thing that really drove me like through the process. I walked into that last audition like thinking I'm gonna do my goddamn best, which I don't know how much it is, but it's something. But throughout the whole rest of it, I was just like, I wanna have fun. I wanna have fun, and I think you have to have a mix of both. Have fun, and also make sure you put everything right up onto the wall. When I met Mindy, I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, you're a celebrity. That's so cool. Because I've never met like a celebrity before. And like she was on the way to the bathroom. And then I was like, oh, that's weird. Don't be weird, bro. Like she's literally gonna go take like a dump or something. Like that's so weird. But then I was like, wait, but you're like also just human? I could never, ever have enough words and time to say how much I think of Mindy. She is so amazing. but she's also just human, like me. So I was like, okay, we both deserve respect. It's not like I have a limited amount of airtime when talking to you. Our time is only, measured by how much time you have to stay in this room and I have to stay in this room. Because I got shit to do too. Like an LA bus tour of celebrity homes that I did with my father. That's what I did after the audition.
Of course you did. I know that, some of you who are fans of Maitreyi have heard that story before, but I wanted you to tell it because I think for the young creatives in this room, to hear all of that, to hear that lesson, to hear your mindset going into that audition and that first big break, I think it's a lesson. And it's really inspiring.
It's truly, why not me? And I remember in one of my early interviews, when I was asked this, I was asked what was going on in your head? And then in my head, I was responding and I was saying yeah. So in my mind, I was like, why not me? And then only, yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
And then only a couple of weeks after, I was like, oh, Mindy has 2 books? Oh shit, one of them is called Why Not Me? Yo, they probably think I faked that. I swear I did not know that one of her books was named Why Not Me. I was like, oh, this is gross.
It just means you guys are aligned. You're aligned.
Mentally
Okay,
aligned.
so talking about Mindy, I want to know because both of you had to know that the show was going to be groundbreaking just by virtue of you starring in it. Truly, because we had not seen a South Asian star like that before.
Yes,
By
I
virtue
agree.
of you being Tamil Canadian and
Yeah.
starring in this show, it was going to be groundbreaking.
Yeah, regardless of whether, I totally agree, because regardless of whether or not it was a funny show or not, or if it was super cringy or super dark or whatever, it was still a first of its kind. It was a unicorn.
Yes, absolutely. And so I want to know what conversations about that, about the representation, about kind of the pressure that comes with that, you and Mindy had early in the process.
Yeah, I will say, while filming, the focus was definitely, let's just act, let's make this show. We weren't having conversations of and then when it comes out, you're gonna have to represent all of these brown girls on your shoulder. No. They, truly, Mindy Kaling and Lang Fisher, both the showrunners, were always just really supporting me as an actor because I still needed to learn what an eye line was, what a mark was. I didn't know any of that. So that was the conversation while filming. And then after, when the show released and everything, that's when Mindy and I had conversations about how, it's tough and it can make, it can be really, really scary at times. It can be really, really defeating and make you feel like shit. But it can also be really rewarding. And sometimes the feeling of, the good feelings can come from wrong places, fake places, and it's not actually genuine. But sometimes those genuine places do come, and they come from the things that keep you grounded, your family and your friends. We've had really, really good conversations, and I'm very, very thankful to have her as my first boss, just because of having someone who relates to that. We are 2 different people at the end of the day, but she understands and can see what I'm going through because she's been there, and that's priceless. So,
Yeah, I can't imagine. I'm so glad you have her.
yeah.
And that she has you, to be honest, as well. So I want to talk a little bit more about the pressure and limits of representation. But first, one of my favorite episodes from the show is from season 1. It's called Never Have I Ever Felt Super Indian. And so before we talk about that, we're going to watch a little bit of a clip.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And it's not a TikTok. Yay.
And it's going to have audio. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm going to be so scarred now. I never want to see one of my old TikToks. I'm deleting my TikTok, guys. I'm deleting it.
Davey?
Paxton, what are you doing here?
Swim practice. What are you doing here?
Just Ganesh Puja. It's a weird Indian thing.
Oh, what do you do for it?
We eat and pray to Ganesh. He's the elephant god. He's sort of a big deal to Indians. I mean Hindus. Because, there are Muslim Indians and then Sikh Indians and Jains, and honestly there are...
You don't have to give me the Wikipedia page on India.
Sorry.
So, is part of Ganesh Puja kicking lockers in anger?
No, that was unrelated. That doesn't have... You were joking. No, I just got mad, which is something I'm working on.
You do have kind of a temper, huh?
It's not my fault. Some old loser was telling me that I'm too Indian. And some other people think I'm not Indian enough. And honestly, all I want to do is eat a donut, but I'm stuck here.
Who cares what other people think? You do you, Vishwakumar. Also, you look cool in that outfit.
Did he just say she looked good? Holy shit. Maybe she wasn't as friend zone as she thought.
Paxton Yoshida Hall, everybody.
That clip was not for me. That clip was for Darren. Shout out to my boy Darren.
Okay, I love that clip for a lot of reasons. Also, I just want to eat a donut. I feel like it's just, I have a lot of conversations with creatives of color and about the work that they do and representation and whatever. And it's truly like, sometimes it's just like, I just want to eat a donut, and then I just want to ask you about your show. They just want to eat a donut, and that they just want to talk about their work. And then we're talking about these big like questions and conversations around our identity and all this stuff. So that episode, it brings up stuff that's super relatable for like first and second generation immigrants, but also it's this very specific experience that Mindy wrote about there. So how did that episode resonate with you? And what have you heard from people about how it resonated with them?
Yeah. Well, I will say, watching that, it's like the same as watching my old TikToks. Yikes, bro. That's insane, because that's like actually week 3 of my career, because that was supposed to be episode 3, and then we ended up switching it. So that was week 3 of my career, which is wild. Watching that, I'm like, oh, you're such a little bean, which is insane, because I was just 17. That's 3 years ago. But yeah, I was just having a little bit of a moment of like, I'm proud of you, kid moment, you know? But aside from that...
You can sit in that moment for a second.
No,
Because we're proud of her too.
It's insane, because there's so many things where I'm also like, I'm proud of you, kid. But please, holy shit, what are you doing? What are the decisions that you're making in this scene? Like, oh my God, you slurred your words at the end there. Where is the enunciation? What are you doing? But no, I'm proud of myself in that moment. If I ever did that again, I would not be proud of myself. You could do better than that now, Maitreyi. But proud of what you did in that moment. In terms of the episode, I totally feel you on the whole donut. It's one of like the best lines in season 1. And it really resonated with a lot of people like online, because, you know, pandemic show, so everything was online.
Yeah.
I feel that totally. There's many times where, you know, I get asked in interviews by, you know, especially like white interviewers being like, so how do you feel? I was like, your representation for other brown girls out there. It's like, sometimes they're talking to me like I'm doing a little pet project with like my family, my cousins. I'm like, what? That's weird. And it's just like, I wish you guys would stop asking me that so I could just talk about reflecting back on a show, you know, reflecting back on what I did, or telling you about how in that scene, if you actually watch carefully, there's a moment where the jasmine in my hair is actually undone and then it goes back into my hair, and that's a continuity error. Like, that's what I want to tell you about, not about like, yes, I'm so honored. Like, no, I want to just eat my donut, which is just talking about my passion. But I also realize, like, that's, of course, the frustration, but that frustration is nowhere near as big as the realization and acceptance of the fact that this is the world that we live in, that you and I live in, that we have to answer these questions. And I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about answering those questions anymore. When any interviewer asks me, I'll happily answer it every single time in the most genuine way, because I know every time I answer it in a genuine way, and every time I kill it on screen with the continuity errors, eventually the younger actors won't have to answer it. So I'll accept that reality now, so that they don't
clap.
have to.
Don't be scared of clapping for that.
Like, that's what I want. I'll not eat my donut so that the younger generations can, you know?
Whew, that was a word right there.
I mean, I get it from my mom. What can I say? But yeah, audiences also really resonated with that, because God, we're also like tired. We just want to live.
Yeah,
We want to be
everybody's
human
tired.
beings.
Just want to eat our donuts. Yeah, I mean, you answered like 7 questions in that because you're that good. So Let's talk about, I mean, you probably can't say anything. I don't want to get you fired from Netflix, but what can you tell us
They love me too much.
about and they need you. What can you tell us about season 3 and like Davey and Paxton? Are these two kids going to work it out?
You can just say you're Team Paxton. You can just say you're Team Paxton.
Was that not obvious?
No, I know, but you can say to the audience, I know you are. I know. I always say whenever like someone's like, tell us about season 3 and season 4. I always say you're asking the wrong M, because I guarantee you if Mindy was on the stage, she would absolutely go off and like tell you every plot line, because she cannot keep spoilers in. Just the other day I was texting her because we're getting ready to do a live table read of episode 1 of season 3 in LA. And I was texting her and I was like, please don't give any spoilers, Mindy. Please don't. And she's like, oh no, I'm totally just gonna say, and I was like, yeah, no, don't do that, because that's actually not even the beginning of the season. That's like the end, so don't do that. I am like...
I love that you're keeping her in
Oh
check.
yeah, no, we once did an interview in front of a live audience where she's starting to talk about something and she feels my head turn like... She's like, and that's all. What I will say though is stuff that we already know on the internet. It's coming out in summer. Could be any one of the 3 months. Can't confirm or deny if I know. There's a new love interest. Yeah, see? See? Some of y'all didn't know that. And he's a South Asian man.
Ooh, that's what I like to hear.
So, that's cool. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Yay.
You're really good at this. I don't know if like Marvel is watching, but you're good at keeping those spoilers locked. So
Hey, I mean, you know what? Tom Holland is getting them all the press and like, like clips on TikTok. So you know what? He's nailing it in his way. What can I say?
is he though? I don't know.
I love watching the video of him with the Endgame poster.
Yeah.
With Mark Ruffalo. That's the funniest thing
Same.
ever. Gosh, I don't want to mess up like that though. Like it seems really fun, but like I don't want to do that. That makes me nervous and anxious.
Oh, you don't?
What, you want me to? Wait, I'm saying I don't want to mess up like a spoiler.
You don't want to mess up. Sorry, I thought you were saying you don't want to like play a superhero.
No,
and
oh
be
my
in
God,
Marvel.
I'd love to play a superhero.
Okay,
Are you joking? You
that's
know
why
me?
I was so confused.
Oh my God, no, I was saying I don't want to mess up like, some spoiler.
Yeah, no,
I'd
you're
love to
very
be a
good at it. You
superhero.
you just schooled us.
Guys.
You could teach a class and not giving away spoilers.
I realized when I'm used to saying in press, because like after season 1 was done, they'd be like, what's gonna happen in season 2? And I would say, I actually don't know, because I did it. Because we find out as we go.
Yeah.
And then season 2 was done, and they're like, what's gonna happen in season 3? And I was like, I don't know, because I didn't know. And then season 3 is gonna drop, and they're gonna be like, what's gonna happen in season 4? Next question, please. Thank you.
I believe in you.
Yeah,
You got this.
I'm just gonna say random things.
Right.
Everyone here knows now. In interviews, you're gonna hear stuff like Davey goes to New Zealand. New Zealand. Yeah. Study abroad. Just gonna make lies.
course.
And that's how I get fired from Netflix. Anyways, let's just keep this going. I'm sorry, Netflix.
I was letting you go off the rails. I liked it. So we're going to talk about Turning Red now. But before we get into Turning Red, we're going to watch a clip featuring you as Priya.
Nice. This isn't my face. I like it.
Fortun's coming to Toronto! What? It's just me. Shut up. It's okay. It's me. It's me. Calm down. All right? I'm gonna let go, and you're gonna be chill. Got that? Chill. May?
Are you a werewolf?
No. What?
He's a red panda! Sick.
You're so fluffy. You're so fluffy.
I've always wanted a tail.
Priya, Abby, quit it. May, what the heck happened?
It's just some, inconvenient, genetic thingy I got from my mom. I mean, it'll go away. Eventually. Maybe.
May 18th. They just announced it.
18th? There's no way this will be gone by then. Just go become women without me.
May, it's gonna be okay.
No, it's not. I'm a freak. Just leave me alone.
So wholesome.
Oh, it's so wholesome. There's so much about that clip and that movie that I love. Like that clip was just like such an encapsulation of like teen girl friendship.
Yeah.
And then also the movie captures the very like specific boy band thirst and like the high of it, that like I've never seen captured. I felt it a lot when I was a teen. But so let's talk about like crafting Priya. Like she's got this like amazing deadpan delivery. How did you come up with that? What was the process of like creating that character?
In the audition, when I got like the opportunity to audition, because like Pixar is like, they're not releasing any details. Like it's super secret. So all I really got told was deadpan voice, and that I don't think I got told that Priya was in middle school, but just deadpan voice, but still like has expression. So it was like, these are contradicting statements, ha ha ha. So it was towing this line of like, know what her emotion is, whether she's like, being like sad or like excited for, the boy band craze, it's still deadpan. So finding that nice line. I listened to a lot of good old Tina Belcher, good old Tina. And then I just started binge watching Bob's Burgers and I was like, oh shit, we gotta make this tape. And also Raven from Teen Titans, favorite DC superhero. But yeah, it was honestly, you're gonna laugh. I did the audition, like I did my self-tape for this one. So obviously Never Have I Ever was in the community library, right? Mm-hmm. This was just in my bedroom, on my bed, because I didn't want to sit in a chair, because like that's uncomfortable for my ass. I'm just gonna lie down and just talk like
You did this lying down in your bed.
Yeah.
Again, annoying.
See, I knew you were gonna say that. But that's how I did my audition for this. And then I was like, all right, well, it is what it is.
But I also feel like that mentality is like the lesson in you and how you approach work, is that you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do what works for me.
Yeah, like I listened like to Tina over and over again, and I did spend my time properly on that tape. It wasn't like a one take done.
Yeah, you work hard.
Yeah, I put my whole heart into it. I really made it exactly how I wanted to sound. I got my mom to listen to like the different options, as I always do. I'm like, okay, what do you think about this one, Mama? Okay, now what about this one? Now compare it to this one.
Is she super critical?
Yes, yes.
I
My
love
mom
that.
will happily tell me if she doesn't think I put my whole heart into it. She will happily tell me. She's like, no, not it. Go again. And then I sent it in, because then I was like, out of my hands. But yeah, Priya.
Yeah, she's incredible. But so, I mean, I can imagine that animation can be kind of isolating because, at times you're recording your lines of dialogue, like mostly alone or without the rest of the cast. So what was the process of building the chemistry as a cast? Because I saw you on your press tours after, and like you and Sandra Oh seemed like you were best friends, and I was very jealous.
The process is that there was no process, and I would like to pin that to the Canadian connection. Genuinely, like I met her that day. That was the first day I actually met Sandra.
When you were doing the press here in Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met her in one of the green rooms when we were doing like the junket stuff, and hitting it off right away, because you don't get to meet your other cast members while recording. You're doing it by yourself. And I didn't even know Sandra was on the project until the Deadline article came out. I didn't realize like anybody who was on the project until the Deadline article came out. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I only knew Phineas and Billie Eilish were doing the music while recording. So
Which I can imagine was exciting for you because I know you're a
Yes.
Billy fan.
I am. Yeah, that was really awesome. I think they crushed it. I was talking to Phineas, and Phineas said, only like 90s boy bands can make Turn My Tummy sound normal. Like what?
True.
Huh? But yeah, they're cool.
I love the music. Again, like that's such a specific experience to capture that like adolescent thirst. I love how that movie does that. So what I love about these two big characters that you've played, Priya and Devi, is that they are both horny teen girls. So what is it about teen girlhood that is important to see on screen, and especially teen girlhood that is not shown through a white lens?
Yeah, okay, well, there's so much to unpack there because usually we see like the guys going out and being horny. You know, it's not the girl's role to do that. That's something I really like about Devi, that she's just, you know, she's a nerd and she's very, very smart, but she never dumbs herself down for Paxton. She never, you know, tries to be something that she's not for Ben. She's just her, and she knows what she wants. I think that's really awesome because that's a good representation for those girls who are like that, but also in a way, and I say bits and pieces of Devi because not all of Devi, bits and pieces of Devi that are good for young girls who haven't gone through that yet to look up to. Like, I will always remind my little cousin, no, don't pick a boy over your friends when your friends are going through a crisis. But look at how she's still focusing on her school and what she likes. Isn't that so cool, Sana? She's like, I've seen clips of you and Darren kissing on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, this is a great conversation. Thank you very much. I'm really enjoying this. But yeah, I think playing those strong characters are really nice. And the fact that they're messy, whether we can relate to all of it or not, we're letting them just exist and be messy because we really don't let them do that often for like any female roles. So yeah.
And that's, to me, like, if we're gonna have kind of that base level representation conversation, the like messiness and the chaos is what's like radical to me, because I'm like, for so long the like pendulum swung the other way, where it was like, oh, this representation has to be perfect. They've got to be like these amazing like role model type people. And it's like, no, Devi is a mess. And that's okay. And yeah, there are things about her that are like great, and you're like, yeah, be like that. And then there are other times where you're like, girl, what are you doing?
Trust me. Yeah.
But that's what makes her a compelling character and makes her real. And then that's when it's like, okay, well, this is radical because we don't see those real characters who look like Devi, who look like us ever.
I think there's still like people out there that really want characters like Devi, characters that look like Devi, to act a certain way, to act very like nice, prim and proper, just how they want people who look like me to act prim and proper. And also just women to make them act prim and proper. So it's nice that we're just saying, you know what, screw it. Like, I actually think about all the time, like now that I've seen Turning Red 4 times, the first time I didn't appreciate it because I was just like, how's the story going? How's plot A? How's plot B? Oh my God, okay, the musical score, is it good? Okay, good. Because I was just too much in work mode.
Yeah.
By the time I watched it the fourth time, I got it. I understood what the plot was. I still think, though, about the fact that, like, that's a pretty bold move on the behalf of Pixar. Like,
Totally.
I was like, wait. This is Pixar, AKA Disney, AKA Happy Smiley Disney, talking about something like this. That's actually pretty historical, right?
Yeah.
Like, when do you see pads and tampons animated? What? That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's cool that the pendulum is swinging the other way, you know? Slowly but surely.
Agree. We're going to talk about something that I've watched 4 times, and that is season 2 of Bridgerton. Yes. Hey, here we go. This is my people. But I want to talk about romance. And so, you know, I know you've met Simone Ashley, and there is, again, to talk about, like, being groundbreaking. And there's 2 South Asian women as the romantic leads. But specifically when it comes to romance, because you are also, I would call Never Have I Ever a rom-com, in a sense.
Yeah, agree.
You are also a romantic lead. So just this, like talk about that and this idea of like seeing different people be in that specific romantic role and being like lusted after.
Yeah, I think, honestly, rom-coms are actually really fun. I don't think I'd ever do like just romance because I gotta have a little bit of comedy to break the ice. But rom-coms are really, really fun because comedy is obviously hard, as we know, but actually showing like romance is hard too. Like building chemistry is actually sort of tough, but then when you do it, it's really, really satisfying. Like when Darren and I do scenes together, we know what we're doing. We have the crew wrapped around our fingers because we'll do a take. They'll call, like, before they even call cut, we hear the, aww. And this is like 50-year-old grown-ass white men, okay? And I'm like, yeah, we just did that. And Darren and I are just like, nailed it. We made him believe it. Yeah, we know what we're doing. We know how we're working the crowd here. But it's nice to see brown girls and just, you know, like women of color take up that space of being desired for, and that sensuality that comes with those scenes of like that pure emotion of just like love and affection. You know, I would kill as like a middle school girl, and like I don't know if any of y'all like, you know, women of color in the audience can relate, but like in middle school I would have killed to see like any moment where the South Asian girl was like the one that they chose. Because like how many times was it the white girl? How many times was it the white girl that they chose? How many times did I want to be the white girl that they chose? Because then I realized I'm never going to be the white girl because I'm a brown girl. And they're never going to pick the brown girl because she's going to be the best friend. Or like just in general, the woman of color is going to be that quirky best friend and not the one that they choose. When really the best friend character was obviously always the cooler one.
They were always. You're like, she's right there though.
So that's what I'm saying. I think it's really cool. I think I've seen comments where people are like, there's no way a character like Paxton would ever pick Davy. And I'm like, okay, and? Well, I'm gonna live in this fantasy where he does. Because
But it's not though, because anyway.
Because yeah, exactly. It's
I'm
not
gonna pull up
though.
on that person who commented that.
Team Paxton
You
over
drop
here.
names, you drop ats, and I'll you know what?
But you know what I'm saying
rolling.
though? Like, there's some people though that, like, and I think those people that do say that, I think a good bit of them come from the place where I was in middle school, of like,
Sure. Yes.
there's no way.
Yes.
There's no way a guy like Paxton's gonna pick Davy. And I read that, I don't get offended. I get, like, I understand. Because I'm like,
Sure.
I get it.
Well, yeah, there's the like social conditioning, white supremacy, blah, blah,
Exactly.
blah, blah, blah. But
There's all of that
also,
conditioning.
It is fiction. And so it's like you can suspend your disbelief on certain things,
Yes.
but you can't suspend your disbelief that someone would dare love a brown girl.
Exactly. I totally agree. And I just think it's really awesome that we get to see, you know, women of color in those roles. Because women of color are hot as shit.
Aren't we though? Okay, I want to talk quickly. Actually, you answered this question, but actually, what can you tell us about Pride and Prejudice, about you playing Lizzie Bennet?
That role is going to be very cool. This is my brain buffering. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to play that role. I really love the character of Elizabeth Bennet. I think I'm personality-wise more like her. Definitely in the, you know, the back and forth of Pride and Prejudice between the two leads. So I'm very excited about that. Not much I can actually say though. Yet, not on the casting end, not on the
Okay, I'm gonna save you here.
It's gonna be cool, and it's a modern adaptation. Yup.
Well, we're all really excited to
And
watch
she's
it.
played by Maitreyi Ramakrishnan. Yeah, I think one thing I will say is that the director, she's really cool. When I met her, she was just looking for a woman of color, and it didn't have to be a South Asian girl. It could have been any, but she did say though that to her, and she's white, and the reason why I say she's white is because, wow, look, you guys can do this too. You can be like Becca. She said her modern day Elizabeth Bennet isn't a white girl. She's someone of color. And we've seen so many adaptations and very few feature characters of color. So she's like, no, modern day Elizabeth Bennet, she's a woman of color, so yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because that was also just the character that so many of us like clung to because
Yeah.
of so many of her personality traits and
She's
all
a
of
very
that.
relatable girl, yeah.
What's the most romantic thing that's happened to you in real life recently,
Whoa.
Maitreyi?
Whoa. Honestly, literally nothing. I think one time during a fan meet and greet in New York, I had one person rap to me. That was, and then I got scared because then they showed me their phone wallpaper and it was my face, and then they showed me their iPad wallpaper and it was my face, and then they showed me their Apple Watch and it was my face, and I was like, maybe you should get a Apple sponsorship. That could be cool. My romantic life is dead. Sometimes I wonder how I do such romantic scenes, given how dead it is. I'm like, where does this come from? Because it's not coming from reality. Truly, it's dead. I'm so
That's
much
your acting. That's your talent there, baby.
acting. Acting 101. Yeah, no. So much of my life is focused on my career and my passion, because like acting is what I love. But that's not to say like career above all else. Why am I doing so many weird voices, guys? Are we acknowledging this? Thank
We
you.
love
Thank
them.
you.
We love them.
But I always like I like to joke and say love is dead 2022. I've been saying it since 2020. Since I graduated high school. But I will never say that I'll die alone, because I'll always have my friends and my family.
I was gonna say there's a lot of romantic things that can happen that are, with family, with friends.
Exactly.
I think you and Mindy's story is hella romantic.
Yeah, I think like honestly, my right now the love that I have in my heart is truly just dedicated to my friends and my family, and I'm happy with that. Like I'm very comfortable being single, and that's cool with me. I'm chilling with that. I love my friends to death. So yeah.
Yes, you can clap for that.
I'm
And
happy
that is
being
a great.
single. I don't need I also let's be real. Let's acknowledge the fact that let's say Maitreyi Ramakrishnan dates some guy or girl from Hollywood. It's gonna be all about that. I date a guy from in Hollywood. It's gonna be all, oh wow, new relationship, and then suddenly all the questions when I'm doing season 3 press is gonna be about my relationship. I date a girl. Oh damn.
Oh, yeah.
What do you
totally.
identify as? What's your pronouns? I was like, that's not what this conversation's about. It's like just people get absolutely bonkers with that.
Yeah. They do.
So it's like, even if I was wanting to date someone, I would probably never really bring them into
You got to do the Issa Rae thing where we don't hear about it until the wedding day.
Yeah. Pretty much.
She's like curbed me when I've tried to ask her about it, and you know what? I respect it. Okay, we got to go to audience questions. They gave me the signal like 10 minutes ago, so I'm really sorry. But we do not have a microphone, so you guys are just gonna have to project, and then I'm gonna repeat
Theater
the question for
voices.
you. Okay, so right here in the front.
Hi there. First, I just want to say I'm a little flustered to be in front of another Mississauga legend, because I am also from Mississauga.
Hey yo!
I thought you were gonna say I'm also a Mississauga legend.
Not only that, Maitreyi, but we do have mutual friends in real life.
Shut up, who?
Nicole.
Ruth?
Yes.
This is really exciting,
Oh,
but y'all, we
Nicole
don't have
Ruth
time
sucks.
for this. We don't have time
She
for
sucks.
this. I'm
oh wait,
so
yeah, we don't
sorry.
have time for this. But Nicole Ruth sucks. Continue. She's one of my best friends.
Yeah. But also, I did want to ask you, do you have a personal favorite episode of Never Have I Ever?
Okay, I
Ooh.
got to repeat the question just so that everyone watching on TikTok
That's so true.
knows what that is.
That's so true.
The question was, do you have a favorite episode of Never Have I Ever?
Favorite episode of Never Have I Ever. Okay, I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. I probably would change my answer though if I thought about it a little bit more, but I'll say a favorite scene that I'm really proud of. It would go back to season 1, episode 9. Devi storms up to her room right after she finds out that Nalini and her uncle want to, send her back to India. She goes and she's like crying, and then she has this moment where she slams the door in her face and is like, I wish you were the one that died that night. Oof. I was very proud of that scene because I remember in the first crying scene of the season, I really struggled to cry on time because I didn't know how. I've never done it before. But by the time I got to that end, I could do it flawlessly, and now I have this one-tier trick, and I had the whole crew crying, and that was a moment as an actor, I was like, yeah, I nailed that take, and I know the take that they used, but I will say there's some good stuff coming up in season 3 that I'm actually very excited about, so yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions? Anybody? And then I'm gonna try to diversify. Okay, in the back there, I can't see. Yes. Sorry, I'm gonna go to some anyway, go ahead.
My question ain't that deep, but essentially boils
Can I drive?
The question is, can Maitreyi drive?
Yo, you know what, man? Guess what? I got my whole G a week and a half ago. Let's go! Let's go! And you know why I got it? You know why I got it? Because they took off 3-point turn, parallel park, emergency stop. And you know what he said to me? You know what he said to me? I feel like, I don't know if I should say this or not, but I'm gonna say it. You know what he said to me? He said, you just barely passed. Okay. A 15 is a pass. A 16 is a fail. How much do you think you got? 15. Yeah. You just barely passed. Okay. Bye. And that was it. Let's go.
I'm so proud of you. I failed my driver test 3 times when I was 16 and never tried again. So I can't drive, in case anyone was wondering.
I'll drive you. I got you.
Thank you so much.
got you.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
In my shitty Elantra. My shit Elantra.
Okay, right here, right in the front.
What's your favorite thing about being on set?
Okay, the question is, what is your favorite thing about being on set?
That is a really hard question, just because there is so much that I love about being on set. My last year of high school was really, really rough for me, and I had like a really bad low point. And before that, I would tell you that the happiest place I've ever been would be Canada's Wonderland, because I love amusement parks. Because I love amusement parks and, you know, funnel cake. But I truly mean it with my whole heart. My favorite place in the world is a set. Like, being on set with everyone, just watching everyone do their thing, you feel so small, but so important as a crucial puzzle piece in something way bigger than yourself, you know? Like, I feel just like a little speck that gets to contribute to something that's so much bigger than me and bigger than my whole life, because it'll always be out there. I get to like see other people do their jobs, so even if I'm not needed on set, like, or in the scene, I still will like shadow the director, shadow the camera guys. Look at how the props people are doing their continuity and how they're resetting things, like costumes and hair and makeup, seeing how they're doing, you know, their continuity photos. So there's so much I love about set. It is truly my favorite place, and I get so excited, especially when I get to bring my family on set that have never seen me act, because that is when I'm in my element. That is when I am most myself.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I love that
That's
for you.
it's a complex answer. I could talk about it all day, but thank you for that question. I actually really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Okay, right here in the red.
Well, I wanted to ask you, like, I mean, I'm studying acting right now. I come from Mexico, so what's your advice for, like, aspiring actors, like, to start, like, in the business, you know?
Okay, so the question was, this is an aspiring actor from Mexico, and they want to know what is your advice for aspiring actors?
I mean, I'm not the best person to ask because I didn't go to like, you know, go through the traditional way of like acting lessons and like going to an acting school and then auditioning like and having that practice. The way I went into my career is very, very unique. So I can't give you like the best like, make sure to study this, 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 and this, do this, 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 and this, because I don't know what it is, and I'm really sorry. I wish I did. But because of what I do know and my path, I will tell you this. You have your own path. Don't ever, ever, at any moment, whether you're not in your acting class or when you're in your acting classes with all of like the other students who want to be actors too, don't ever compare yourself to them. You're only doing a disservice to yourself. I would hate if anyone ever compared their journey to mine and thought, well, damn, she did it. That's not fair. That's not fair. You have your own journey. And I don't know what it is yet, and I don't know how long it's gonna take and when that moment's gonna happen, but it'll happen. Just you have to trust your own journey and focus on yourself, okay? So like, don't compare yourself to other actors. You do you. Focus on you. Yay.
That was a really beautiful moment. I got emotional a bit. Okay, last question. I'm so sorry. There's so many questions, but we have to wrap it up. So I have one more. Maitreyi, you pick. I can't do it. It's too much pressure.
No, that's so,
too much pressure.
you did me dirty there. No way. No way.
Okay, all right, I'll pick. Right here in the white. Yes.
Okay, so my name is Jaspi, and just speaking to you, like, it's honestly such a dream because I'm a South Asian girl who, like, loves theater and acting and stuff like that. And I didn't think I could do it until I saw people like you on the screen, and I'm like, oh, maybe I can, like, go into it as well. But other than that, I just wanted to ask, like, what is your dream role to play?
Okay, so there was a really beautiful preamble about how she's a South Asian girl who looked up to Maitreyi. I need people watching to just realize that we just had a moment. And then the question was, what is your dream role?
In the broader, more general way, it would be taking on a bunch of different roles that if they ever met Devi in like a parallel universe, they would hate each other and like stab each other to death because they'd be so different, you know? Like, I want to play like a crazy, like, you know, villain one day, like in a thriller or something, and then maybe one, like an awesome hero in an action. Just like super different in a specific sense, though. In a specific role that's actually out there. Like, my dream role has always been like Rapunzel, because that would be amazing. I mean, like, why not, right? Like, why not? That would be so wild, because then I would also get to fulfill like my, you know, musical dreams. I really one day want to do a movie musical. That would be awesome. And like, why can't Rapunzel be a South Asian girl? We know what it means to be like, you know, trapped up in our rooms with our coconut oiled long ass hair, okay? I mean, I have a bunch of hobbies, guys. I do have a bunch of hobbies. Most of them really aren't needed, but like, I can do a lot of things. So.
There has not been a live action Tangled yet, so.
There has not been.
Just saying.
There has not been, but yeah. But yet again, though, different roles, you know? Just take up more space. Open more doors so that the girls who can't relate to Devi, who can't relate to Priya, could maybe relate to those roles. And if they can't relate to those ones, they'll relate to the other actress who's playing a role, because casting directors have finally woken up that we can take up space too and we can kill it because we have the numbers to prove it.
Woo! That is a word to end on. Everybody stay in your seats just for like COVID protocols. People will tell you where to go, but stay in your seats for now. Thank you so much to all of you. Thank you, Maitreyi. Thank you, TIFF. This has been great. This has been incredible. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Is these real? Nah, they're fake. They're too perfect. They're too perfect.